Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. The clock on the studio wall ticked steadily towards 7 a.m., the usual start of Good Morning Britain's live broadcast. The sun peeked lazily over the London skyline, painting the city in soft golden hues, while millions of viewers across the UK sipped their morning tea, ready for their daily dose of news, gossip, and light-hearted banter. Inside the studio, the atmosphere was bright and buoyant. The hosts, Charlotte and James, exchanged warm smiles as the camera countdown flashed on the monitors. This was their rhythm, their world, a comforting ritual for viewers seeking normalcy before the chaos of the day. Charlotte's voice chimed in, smooth and inviting. "Good morning, Britain. It's a bright Tuesday, and we've got a fantastic show lined up for you. From the latest royal updates to travel tips for the autumn holidays." But, just as she was about to introduce the first guest, a sudden interruption shattered the calm. The studio floor manager's face appeared on the side monitor, his expression tense and grave. He whispered urgently into the producer's earpiece, "We've got breaking news, real serious." The producer's fingers flew over the keyboard, eyes darting across multiple screens. The ticker at the bottom of the monitor switched from cheerful headlines to flashing red. "Breaking news. Tragic incident unfolding in Manchester." James furrowed his brow. "Charlotte, something's wrong. We need to go live with the news now." The mood shifted instantly. The familiar hum of routine gave way to a sharp, focused energy. Cameras pivoted, the opening theme abruptly cut, and the lights dimmed to a cooler, somber tone. Charlotte cleared her throat, her smile fading. "Good morning, Britain. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you some tragic breaking news from Manchester." The scene cut to live footage of a busy street in Manchester. Police cars with flashing lights blocked the intersection. Crowds gathered at a safe distance, faces etched with shock and confusion. Emergency services rushed through the scene, their urgency palpable even through the grainy camera lens. The reporter on site, a young woman with a calm yet concerned voice, began, "We have just received confirmation of a devastating event here in the heart of Manchester. A building near the city center has collapsed, trapping numerous people inside. Rescue operations are underway, but details remain scarce. Authorities are urging the public to avoid the area." The studio fell silent for a moment, the gravity of the news sinking in. James glanced at Charlotte, the usual banter replaced by a shared sense of helplessness. "This is just heartbreaking. We'll keep you updated as more information comes through." As the broadcast continued, the story unfolded like a nightmare no one could wake up from. The collapsed building was an old residential complex undergoing renovations, a place where families lived, children played, and lives were built, now reduced to rubble and dust. The scale of the tragedy began to emerge. Dozens feared trapped, scores injured, and an unknown number missing. In the following hours, Good Morning Britain shifted its entire focus to the disaster. The hosts dropped their planned segments, instead providing live updates, interviews with emergency responders, and emotional accounts from eyewitnesses. One particular moment seared itself into the nation's collective memory. A woman named Sarah, clutching a photo of her elderly mother who lived in the building, appeared on the screen, her voice trembling as she pleaded, "Please, if anyone hears my mum, please tell her I love her. She's all I have." Charlotte fought back tears, her voice gentle and steady. "We are all holding on to hope with you, Sarah." Behind the scenes, the atmosphere was electric with urgency and compassion. The production team scrambled to verify facts, connect with local authorities, and coordinate interviews. The air was thick with tension, the usual studio chatter replaced by rapid-fire updates and whispered prayers. James, who had been known for his humor and light-hearted charm, showed a different side, his empathy and resolve shining through. "This is why we do what we do," he said quietly during a commercial break. "To be the bridge between the people and the truth, especially in moments like these." As the day wore on, the story of the Manchester collapse gripped the entire nation. People tuned in not just for information, but for connection, to share in the sorrow, to hope for miracles, to find strength in solidarity. The tragedy revealed the best and worst of humanity. Volunteers rushed to aid the rescue teams, strangers opened their homes to displaced families, and the city's resilience shone amid the wreckage. But there were heartbreaking moments too. Lives lost, dreams shattered, futures uncertain. Charlotte and James bore witness to it all, their roles evolving from presenters to voices of comfort and unity. Then, just as the evening edition of Good Morning Britain was about to wrap up, another startling development arrived. A small movement was detected beneath the debris, a faint sound, a whisper of life. Rescue workers intensified their efforts, and, after tense, breathless hours, a young girl was pulled from the rubble, alive but shaken. The studio erupted in a mix of relief and emotion. Charlotte's eyes glistened with tears as she announced, "Against all odds, hope has been found. This brave little girl is a beacon of light in a dark day." James added, voice thick with emotion, "She reminds us all why we must never give up, no matter how bleak things seem." The story ended not with closure, but with an ongoing commitment. Over the next days and weeks, Good Morning Britain continued to cover the aftermath, the search for survivors, the community's healing, and the urgent need for safety reforms to prevent such tragedies in the future. The tragic breaking news that forced the show to pause became a pivotal moment in broadcast history, a raw, unfiltered glimpse into the fragility of life and the strength of human spirit. Epilogue. Months later, the city of Manchester stood stronger, its wounds beginning to heal. Memorials were erected, stories of heroism shared, and a renewed sense of unity embraced. Charlotte and James reflected on the unbelievable moment when their show was forced to stop for tragic news, a moment that forever changed them and their viewers. "It reminded us what really matters," Charlotte said softly. "Not just the headlines, but the people behind them." James nodded. "And that sometimes in the midst of tragedy, the most powerful thing we can do is come together, as a community, as a nation, as human beings." And with that, Good Morning Britain continued, carrying the lessons of that unforgettable day in every story told, every voice heard, and every heart touched.